Greetings and welcome. Today an update on my tracked e-bike tank from 2023. It is now no more electrified. Well, I removed the electric motor last year because there was need for an electric propulsion unit for my little mock RC project. Making a kid's pedal toy car into a remote controlled one. Back to the topic. So my tracked bicycle is now without an active drive unit? No, I petrolified it. What the heck? What just happened here? Somehow the tank tracks were hungry. Come on, spit it out. There you go. Round 2. Looks like tank barriers are no match for that thing. It simply crawls over. I released the drive pedal but still rolled forward and almost took down the tripod of the slow-mo cam. Man, close call. Yeah sure, I could have used both sting and brake levers at once to brake, but I'm still a newbie controlling that thing. Alright, tank barriers destroyed. Next, let's defeat another tank. Let's take out some anti-air. Okay, that's enough fun. Let's see some technical aspects too. So its new heart comes from a former petrol lawn scarifier, which saw last action back in 2013. We used that thing only a couple of times, because it used to be rather stupid and useless. Originally that thing had a fixed throttle valve, but I attached a bicycle gear lever to calm it a bit down, as well be able to rev it. Ram, ram. So much power, around 1.7 horsepower, for pushing that thing forward, sadly only forward. No reverse, like the old configuration with the e-bike motor. But therefore I have now much more power, as well reliability, as long I got some fuel left. Always full power on those tracks till the end. Oh yeah, by the way, here you can see its predecessor model, well, sort of, bicycle tank number 3 from 2009. Before its conversion into a tricycle, it was basically the same concept, except for its missing tank tracks. I think someday in the future I will revisit that original draft from back then. Building that thing again with 4 wheels as well a body that is replicating that little tank cat right here, that model. Because that old BT3 was really fun to drive, but was poorly built. So you would totally build that model again with a roof, but doesn't want to finish that BT20 right here with a body, a roof, a cannon, question mark? That's right, because that thing is already operating on its limit. I also like that open top design, the way it is. Pushing those levers in order to lift one side for steering is already quite hard. Just the tank weighs 100 kilos. With myself as driver that totals in about 170 kilos. Side note, the electric version was around 95 kilos. Without any motor it's 85 kilos of empty weight. Also, those bicycle wheels are not made for large loads. I just confirmed that. Equipping my car with bicycle wheels. Well, I only dare to mount bicycle wheels on the back, where it's not as heavy as in the front, with its huge 69 horsepower engine. Pre-pumped the tires to low, so I increased the pressure even more. 4.5 bar, and they are still like almost flat. As you can already see, those bicycle wheels are not made for heavy loads, especially not for attacking forces from the sides. Jeez, the spokes are screaming and moaning already. Actually, I hope I don't damage my car. It's my crappy daily after all. Can't afford a new one. And especially not my dream car, which would be a simple capable pickup truck. So yeah, I'm stuck with that thing. Oh man, my new 26-inch spoke rims look just sick. I'm such a professional car tuner and car lover. Nah, I just hate that silly car. So after somewhat 780 meters, the left-hand side wheel failed. Quite some ingenious idea of myself to use my old rims, so even if the bicycle wheels are gone, I can still ride. After a quick little tire swap, at last, the grand final. Round about 1000 meters of travel distance. In the end, with a little bit of reckless driving, the right hand side wheel failed as well. Even with a bang, I like it. The question, how much load caused the destruction of those wheels in the first place? I only measured one side, should be more or less the same on the other side. Sadly, while doing the measuring, I forgot the weight of those tools in the trunk, as well both spare tires. But at least I forked about 2 passengers. Well, let's say around additional 20 kilo in total on top, but only roughly plus 10 kilos on that side. So let's say a load of 284 kilos suspended on one single bicycle wheel, and it will fail shortly after. Back to the main topic. How do I get that motion of that very fast running engine on the ground? Well, a lot of reduction stages are needed. That small little motor pulley turns that clutch belt. By the way, it's a special belt, especially made for such purposes like clutch stuff and heavy duty action. Anyway, the belt drives that huge belt pulley. First reduction stage. This in turn rotates that little chain sprocket, which in turn turns that large chain sprocket. Second reduction stage. After that, there's that little freewheel sprocket. The freewheel sprocket connects to that large sprocket on the main shaft. Stage number 3. From that main shaft, the motion is guided to each side. That stage is the fourth one. The final main drive, again from small to large, which equals a slow but strong rotating motion on the tracks. At first I tried with one reduction stage less, but it wouldn't work, much too fast spinning. Also no freewheel, which is actually very important if I want to pedal it manually without turning that belt pulley too, because it's already a hassle to drive it without a motor, so there's no more energy to spare. Nevertheless, it will still rotate without a reason if I push it manually backwards, because of that freewheel sprocket. I did some improvements on the pedal mod, simply replaced the old crank arms, which had an effective length of only 150 mm, with those normal sized ones at a length with 170 mm. With those in place I can create a bit more torque, and at the same time pedaling becomes less difficult. But moving it with my bare foot power is still hard, and I'm unable to drive very far like that. A quick side note. While dismantled those crank arms, I made a surprising discovery. Your ordinary crank removal tool wouldn't fit, because it is already built in from the factory. You only need any ordinary screw with the right size, which you screw in till the crank comes off. That's such a unique solution. After all those years of bicycle scrap building, I learned something new. But let's be serious, it's all about the engine, which I could luckily fit in there. Yeah, it's a real tight fit, not much space left. Can't get a finger in between the engine housing and the tank track. But it works, nevertheless. Those chains are running quite smoothly, but I shouldn't overdo it with the load I put on them, because at some point they will snap as well. About that, I did some rough testing, took more or less the same type of bicycle chain. It's that single speed chain which they used on those old bicycles made 40 years ago. For that purpose I used my hand-operated hydraulic ram, as well my new cheap electrical crane lift scale. Yeah, I know, it isn't that accurate, because the chain isn't completely straight in its anchor points, and therefore those points become weak points, but at least some results to deliver. Any more modifications mentioning worth? Well, I lifted the seat backrest 10 centimeters. Now it's much more comfortable to ride. Also, just recently I fitted the drive pedal with two stops. One as protection that no one can bend the pedal with force, while the drive belt pulley is already fully engaged. As well a return stop for the pedal, so that the drive clutch pulley arm can quickly engage out its neutral position. Yeah, somehow I had to make that pulley lever spring-loaded, so it would return on its own, as well the pedal. Simply took an airsoft spring for the job. Perfect size, perfect spring power. Well, even if the belt is made for stuff like that, there's still a lot of dust particles near the motor pulley. If there would be a compartment, a tank body around everything, for example, it should be located in a separate space because of the health risk. I mean, inhaling those particles would be not that great. While doing those last recordings for that episode, I witnessed some funky noise while driving. A broken part of my tank track. Also some more damage, like that bent part back there. I guess I simply made those little aluminum road wheel guides much too upright. Should have bent them much more like a funnel, so that the road wheels can easily re-thread on their own, instead of running on top while crushing those guides beneath. Anyway, a lot room for further improvements, but I reached an endpoint. There are so much more projects on my mind that I simply have to abandon that one right here, for good. Maybe I will return to that project number 20. Perhaps not. Can't promise anything. See ya. Seller over and out. Wir müssen noch Luftpumpen. Wir müssen Luftpumpen.